So my birthday was on Friday the 13th of October and I got a couple of books, so I thought it would be fun to go through them. Excuse the orange light, I'm filming this while we are having a very big storm here in Britain and there is no sunlight. These books are a mixture of from family, from friends, from myself, from subscriptions, everything. And two of them were not for my birthday. I'm just including them because it's a haul. So I'm going to mention those two and then I'm going to go through the birthday books, and as I can I will mention who got me what. Ava Reid's A Study in Drowning. This was my Goldsborough science fiction fantasy box subscription that came. The other one should be arriving soon, hopefully. They are usually late. And this one is number 836 out of 2000. It's quite pretty, this one. Then the lovely folks over at Canongate sent me a finished copy of My Lady Parts by Doon, Mackichan, and this is an actress who I know best from Good Omens. She plays Michael, one of the angels in Good Omens, but she has been in many different comedy things over the years, and this is her memoir of her time working in comedy. It doesn't tend to go into any specifics. You're not going to get a lot of like juicy details about any things that she's been in with any well-known actors, unless you can figure a couple of bits out. Which I can't. I don't really watch that much TV, so over my head. But it's really interesting to see. Obviously she's been in the industry a while. She's a lot older than she looks. She's like late 50s, early 60s. Like, oh my god, she looks like she's like 42. And she has went through so many different periods of time. UK comedy is still very male-centric. The whole Russell Brand thing that came out recently highlighted that. Very male dominated, and it was even worse back in the day. Doon talks about kind of getting into that industry, trying to get men to actually listen to her, the roles that she had to take to get any work, the struggles that she faced. She's had a roller coaster of a life and she seems like an absolutely amazing person. Like, I have the utmost respect for her. And there was one specific part where she, I won't spoil it for you. I do spoil it in a TikTok if you want to see it, but I won't spoil it for you here. But she gets her own back on someone who decides to molest her at work. Ever since I read that, she is my icon. Doon is my icon. I love her. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I've read that one. This came the day after my birthday, which my parents came down to celebrate it with me then, so not a birthday book. And that is Mindbreaker by Kate Dillon. This is the second book in, I think it's a duology? I don't know. Mindwalker, the first book in this series, is about a young woman who has been bought essentially by this big corporation that takes these children that are promising, buys them from their parents and trains them up to, they put on some sort of like a VR headset and then they can jump into other people's minds and control them and control their physical bodies, and so that allows them to keep these highly trained, very good at their job agents who can get out of lots of different situations safe from the actual harm, and they can send in more disposable people to go and do those jobs, because if they don't succeed and if they do die, the skill isn't lost, the skill is retained because the person is still alive. Obviously that is problematic in and of itself. They're also using children for this, and it's a whole thing. It's really well done. Badass woman. Love it. So I'm very excited for the second one, because it's all about kind of rebelling against this corporation that has a lot of governmental support and the differences inside and outside of the regime around that. So I'm looking forward to that. Now for the birthday books. I do also want to say that some of my wonderful friends also gave me stuff outside of this. Not everything that I got was books. Not everyone is represented here and I love you all. I'm specifically thinking of Eleanor. Thank you. And also the Iron Brew that Caitlin got me from Manchester Rabbit. She also got me actually this cute little notebook, which I'm very excited to write in and also terrified to write in, but it's adorable and I love it. But yes, she also got me a big case of Iron Brew. We love her. So Scottish. Hannah from the Bookworms Feast got me Egyptian Myth and Legends, edited by J.K. Jackson. This is a whole like series set of different mythologies around the world, and Egyptian mythology is something that I really was interested in as a kid, but I never like fully went down the rabbit hole. So I am very excited to have this. This is like the one I wanted the most out of the entire collection. So thank you so much, Hannah. You picked the perfect one off of my wish list because and yes, I'm really excited to dive into this one and buy all of the others at some point. Then Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe got me two books. One is A Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This edition is illustrated by Preistley. I listened to this via audiobook I believe earlier this year, or was it last year? It was last year now, I think, and I really enjoyed it. Flicking through, one, I want to take a closer look at the illustrations, but two, obviously the writing style, this is going to have to be reread just so I can appreciate it physically too. But yes, this is a fantastic book that follows a young black boy in the United States. His brother has just been murdered in gang crime through gun-related violence, and so he goes and gets his brother's gun and decides he's going to go down and do something about it. And as he's making his way down in the lift to get to the bottom floor, ghosts of people enter the lift, and they don't necessarily try to persuade him to change his mind, but they do tell him how they ended up to be dead and what they wish they would have done with their lives, and it encourages him to think differently. It's really well done. And then the other book that she got me is one I haven't read before, and that is The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. I really enjoyed The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, and this is one of the classics that is utilised in there. They also use Frankenstein, I'm pretty sure Dracula's in there somewhere, and Sherlock Holmes and things like that. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that's one. And so yes, this is one of the ones that's in there, so I have a little bit of exposure to it from that, and I really want to read the original classic to be able to kind of fully get all of the references. So really excited to have this one, thank you. Becca from the Book Sanctum got me 7 Endless Forests by April Genevieve Tucholke. I need to figure out how to say her name. This one I had The Bonus Mercies, which is the first book in this duology, but they're kind of separated. I really enjoyed The Bonus Mercies. It is a Beowulf retelling, but done completely through females. It's completely different, but also it's so good. It's so good. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this. Then we have the 2 books that my partner got me. So the first one is Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, which is the 4th book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. If you don't know, that's like my most popular video that I've ever made, is my review of that. I don't know why, it's not a good video, but I adore this series. He did get me this in hardback, and all of my other editions are in paperback, so now that means I have to collect them both. Right? Yeah? Yeah. Very excited. This edition is gorgeous. Like, look at the baby pink. Like, how cute. How cute. And this is also signed. So now I have 2 books that are signed by Kawaguchi. Very exciting. But yes, if you don't know about this, the first book is set in a cafe where you can travel backwards in time. You drink the coffee and you have to finish the coffee before it gets cold. That's the time limit that you have in the past, and you're like limited to the location of the cafe. So there's loads of different rules. It's beautifully done. It's beautiful. I have a full review, just watch that. Apparently people enjoy it. And then the other book he got me is another translated Japanese fiction, but this one he bought me on the day of my birthday because we were in Waterstones. And I saw it. It only came out, I think, on the 12th. Or maybe it came out on my birthday on the 13th. It came out like right before. And this is The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Arikawa, and I adored the Travelling Cat Chronicles. So for Christmas last year, my partner got me a load of Japanese cat books translated into English. And I've read them all, and I loved them all, and my favourite was The Travelling Cat Chronicles. That one made me cry. It had me completely by the heart. So when I saw that there was a new one out, I was so excited. So yes, he actually bought me this on my birthday when we were in there. Somehow I was just looking at other things, and he managed to go through the stack, find the perfect edition, buy it, put it in his bag, and then not show me till later. He is a wizard, and I'm very, very excited to look at it. It's gonna be cute and it's gonna make me cry. I'm really excited. So thank you so much, my love, for both of these books. Sod's Law, on the day that I filmed my haul, another book arrives. And this came from the wonderful Veronica from Veronica's Shelf, and she sent me Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and this is a book all about indigenous to the North America's peoples and their knowledge and maintenance of the land, and how this was completely disregarded by the colonizers, and how it can be used now today to actually better maintain the land. I'm thinking as the best example that's both in North America and in Australia, wildfires that have raged. They used to do controlled burnings, made a big difference. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. I am really hyped for this one. So thank you so much, Veronica. Now let's get this clip in there. And then we have one final book that was a present before just books I bought myself, and that is Walking the Bones of Britain by Christopher Somerville. This is a non-fiction book about the geology of the UK. My aunt, she sent me a £20 gift card for Waterstones, so I decided to spend it on this because both this and the volcano book were enticing me. And I decided to go with this one because Chris has made it clear that he intends to get me the volcano book for Christmas. So I got the geology one. No one else is interested apart from Carrie. I'll tell you if it's good. And then are the final books. These are the ones that I bought myself. So we ended up going into the Minster bookshop, which is right near York Minster. Somehow I'd never been in before. I think just because it's down a side alley. It's just one of those things that I forgot about because I never went down. Went in and we went downstairs where they have books on offer, and I really was not expecting to like get anything, and I bought 4 books. So first of all we have The History of the World in Bite-Sized Chunks by Emma Marriott. Then we have The Secret World of Weather by Tristan Gooley. Ancient Egyptian Warfare, Tactics, Weapons and Ideology of the Pharaohs by Ian Shaw. And finally Forces of Nature, The Women Who Changed Science by Leila Mcneill and Anna Reiser. So you can see a non-fiction theme here. It's non-fiction November, like next month, and I have a million non-fiction books already to read, but why not add to the pile? Why not add? So yeah, I'm very excited for all of this. Like, love learning about female scientists. Weather, as someone who did geology undergrad, I should know a lot more about weather than I do. My teachers couldn't be bothered. Already told you that I love Egyptians, and then I just love like learning random little facts, so give me those, that would be fantastic. So that is, as I try and restack them neatly and fail, my birthday book haul. So once again, thank you to everybody who sent me anything for my birthday, whether that was a present or some money or a book or just a birthday message. Thank you all so much to you guys. It was a really lovely day. I had a really lovely weekend, especially with my parents too. And I am glad that I now have some new books entering the world for me, and I'm looking forward to diving into them soon. I just now have to balance them with all of the other books on my TBR. Let me know down below the most recent book that you added to your collection. I think the most recent one of these is the one I got myself, Walking the Bones of Britain. I think that is the most recent. What's yours? Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see what I end up thinking of these books when I do get around to reading them, then please do hit the subscribe button down below. I will see you folks in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!